Good afternoon. I'm Janet Lieber, Chair and CEO of the MTA, here to give an update on the Long Island Railroad derailment and the progress that we've made. Joined by Long Island Railroad Chief of Operations Rob Free, Anthony Simon, General Chairman of SMART, represents a lot of the workforce that's doing this with us. Shanifa Riera, Chief Customer Officer of the MTA, and one of our Long Island Railroad ambassadors who's been working here at Jamaica with our customers. Tremendous progress has been made in recovering from this major accident. As we told everybody yesterday, all 8 cars were derailed. Well, as of 15 minutes ago, all 8 cars of this train have been put back on the rail. There was an full-time, 24/7 overnight operation that has done something that we did not think was possible, which is to get all the cars back on the rail and to start the process of putting this track back into service. A major accomplishment. Shout out to not just the Long Island Railroad wrecking crew, who did an amazing job as they always do, but the Metro North wrecking crew came down from White Plains with a police escort, brought their crane as well. So we were able to have 2 cranes to lift these cars much more quickly than would have otherwise been possible. Amazing one MTA operation recovering from this. Long Island Railroad, Metro North, downstairs, the MTA New York City Transit buses, which have been taking people to the 2 stations that have been put out of service, Queens Village and Hollis. One MTA, amazing accomplishment in a very short time. This is a milestone, but there's also more work to be done to get ready, make sure we restore the railroad in time for Monday. There's 1,600 feet of track that have been obliterated. There are 900 feet of electric traction power. The 3rd rail has to be replaced. There are 400 concrete railroad ties which were wiped out that now need to be replaced. That's a 24/7 operation that is going to continue through the weekend so that we can have the railroad back in absolute perfect working order for the Monday rush. But there is full service this weekend, full service. And I just want to shout out to the Long Island Railroad train operations team. We ran full service last night. The folks heard that I was concerned. We ran full service with only 3 cancellations last night. This morning, full service with only 4 cancellations. And yesterday, we had 86% on-time performance, not where we want to be, but on a day where we lost a huge portion of the railroad, an amazing accomplishment. This is an area which normally gets 367 trains a day. It's one of the busiest parts of the railroad, and we ran almost all of those trains in the last 24 hours. Amazing recovery by our Long Island Railroad operations team. So the railroad's operating this weekend. We've obviously been able to provide close to full service the last couple nights, with the exception of those 2 stations in Queens Village and Hollis, and we're continuing to run a plan for a full and complete operation on Monday morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We have a question here from NBC4. It's Melissa, Colorado.
Hi
Melissa.
there. Good afternoon. So those train cars, can you reuse them, or did they sustain any damage, perhaps to the undercarriage? What's the state of these train cars?
A couple of the cars the wheels especially have been really damaged. I'll let Rob comment more, but it's going to take some work to restore those to service. But the important thing for our customers is to get them off the track so the track starts running. We can repair stuff, but we need the track so we can run service for our customers. Rob.
Just touching on what the chairman had said, absolutely those cars can be repaired. It's going to take some time. As you had mentioned, there's some undercarriage damage. The chairman mentioned the wheels, they need to be looked at, but the cars are right by Hillside, so they can get right to the yard, and we'll begin work on them right away. And hopefully shortly we'll get them back in service.
Other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It's Anthony Carlo from ABC7.
Thank you for the time today, Chairman, and the update on the restoration process. 2 questions for you. First off, can you provide any additional insight as far as what caused the derailment at this point? I know there wasn't a ton of information yesterday, just seeing if that's changed. And my second question is, we've been hearing some concerns from passengers that this has been at least the 3rd derailment on LIRR tracks in less than 3 months. One of those instances back in May had to deal with a inspection train, and then a more recent one in July, actually in Far Rockaway, carrying 50 passengers. No one was hurt. Can you tell them anything to assure that this won't continue?
Well, listen, derailments are extremely rare, so I'm 100% confident that this is not indicative of some pattern, but we are looking closely. This is one of the busiest areas of the Long Island Railroad. This is an interlocking called Hall, where we run 367 trains a day, so we got to look closely at what went wrong. But the other incidents that you mentioned are not in any way analogous, and they relatively low impact. This was a significant impact. We're really digging in. What I do want to say is the reason we were able to recover was in large part because of the third track project. That is a major project to add a third track on the main line in Long Island. That project was completed in the last couple of years. We wouldn't have been able to sustain service. The capital program, the state of good repair of the MTA is what enables us to recover this quickly from incidents of this type, and we got to keep investing in the railroad.
You have a follow-up question, Ms. Carl?
Good on that.
Mr. Chairman, Melissa Colorado from NBC4 has one more follow-up question.
Any estimate on how many passengers from Hollis and Queens Village are still being impacted? Because we did notice in the shuttle buses mostly MTA employees who had to go to the
Yeah. I'll have to get back to you on those numbers. We have the numbers on Hollis and Queens Village ridership. But interestingly, Melissa, today was a normal Friday ridership level. So folks, obviously took our advice. Go to the MTA Train Time app, go to the MTA website, look at social media. They were confident that we were providing service, and they went where they wanted to go. That's a good sign for New Yorkers that people just kept going.
All right, Mr. Carlo, you have another follow-up?
Bit of a separate topic. We spoke with Passengers United, the advocacy group, who's been a bit critical of just LIRR and MTA leadership in terms of correcting issues after they've occurred and assuring rider safety. Just giving you an opportunity to provide any response to that. They also said that they felt there was a bit of a sugarcoating as far as the injuries went from yesterday's incident.
Well, listen, the description of the injuries is the fire departments, and they gave a very detailed account of the injuries. Remember, after that quick response, folks came back to Jamaica and were triaged by the EMS professionals. So somebody wants to second guess the doctors and nurses and clinicians on EMS, that tells you something about those folks and their level of credibility. I don't buy into second guessing the fire department and EMS. Broadly speaking, the MTA is actually having we're in a great moment. Ridership is apples to apples, pushing 80% of pre-COVID ridership. We have dealt with the subway safety issue tremendously successfully. Subway crime is down below pre-COVID levels. A lot more cops on the system. Governor Hochul and the legislature made it possible for the MTA to have zero budget deficits the next 5 years, and the result is we've only had to have a very small fare increase. Before, Controller DiNapoli was saying we were going to have to raise fares by $1. We did a 4% fare increase instead of a huge one. We didn't cut service. The MTA is back on a solid financial footing, and service is better than it's been in 10 years. We're in a great spot.
Mr. Chairman, to your right, we have Doug Williams here from CBS 2.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. Suppose I should have taken the train. And forgive me if this was already asked. I heard you on 880 earlier today say it's too early to get into the details of what an investigation might have led you to believe caused this. Is there anything you can share that
There's really no update. I mean, obviously, we're looking closely at the data that's been downloaded from the switches, from the interlocking, which does actually record all the data, looking carefully at the video that's been captured by the external facing cameras on the train, the interviews of the train personnel, all that is ongoing, but I don't have more information about causation at this time. What we do know is speed was not a factor. This is a a transition area between 80 and 60 miles per hour. The train was going 54 miles an hour, so speed was not a factor, and it's a straight run So we don't think the configuration of the railroad was a factor either. So we're digging in.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Anything else?